let me do an interview if I had food on my face. Okay, just making sure. All right.
I know about that drink.
Yes, the Yankees lost. I know if you have any questions about that, let's just get that out in front.
Rob, the last 3 weeks, you guys have, I think, run the ball almost exactly twice as much as thrown it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to get back to more of a, I don't want to say 50-50, but a more of a median?
Well, it's a good question, but I like how Mike Leach answered that question like a couple weeks ago, which is kind of comical. But no, I think what you do is you do what's working, and then so if we're going to be able to run the ball and do the things that we've done in the run game, we just have to complement it more with taking some more shots down the field, some play action passes, and we did several of those the other day and hit big plays on them. But we just got to do more of them, because the more you run the ball, the shorter the game's going to be, and then the less the opportunities, you have to score. And so if you want to, there's two ways to approach the game. You either go out there and try to outscore your opponent, or you run the ball and play ball control and field position and all of that stuff. So we're kind of, I know we probably started the year out looking like a certain way, and then now we're kind of morphing into something else. But we're just kind of finding out what our guys can do the best. And just, I talked about this earlier, we're just trying to find the best way to win the game that Saturday, whatever that game plan is.
That Stanford game could be 2.5 hours long.
Man, yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting. This is the first time, when I was at Cal several years ago and all that, and I'm pretty familiar with Stanford. This is the first time, you look in the stats and they're like second in rushing offense in the Pac-12, which is kind of weird to see, because what I'm, used to seeing out of Stanford. And I kind of like what they're doing. They're doing a pretty good job on offense, because through film swap, we're kind of behind them in games, so I get to see their offense against the defense we're preparing for every week. Yeah.
Next few, I know they changed and they were doing the front, they brought the safety. And what do you make looking back at those few drives?
Yeah, the thing is if they're going to take the chances, you got to take the chances too. And so, they started going cover zero and just walking everybody down. And you can come up with any scheme in the world, but you get up on that board, they put 9 guys in the box. Those run plays are hard, all right? And so you got to make a choice, and it's tough. So you got to make the decision. There's really a couple things you can do. You can run the option against cover zero, or you can throw it deep, and try to get over their heads. Those are kind of the two things that the way you beat cover zero. So you got to make those decisions. And then if you do throw it deep, you have the possibility of incomplete pass, and now you're 2nd and 10. And so you kind of play that game. And so if you're going to constantly see cover zero, they take the risk. You got to take them too.
But you're supposed to be at the same time, maybe something needs to impose your will. There's 8, 9 people in the box. I mean, to make a statement, let alone the yard.
Yeah, you do, and the running backs gotta, they gotta be their own blockers sometimes, and you can't block the safeties. You can't get them all blocked. You can't do it, and so they're gonna have to do that. Yeah, I remember watching Florida play Ole Miss with Tim Tebow, and there was a couple minutes left to go in the game, and they had 9, 10 dudes in the box. They ran quarterback power about 6 plays in a row and still got it. So yes, you can do that. You got some men up front, and yeah, you do have to impose your will sometimes.
Manny said it's frustrating because it feels so close to really breaking out,
Yeah.
and yet he doesn't have that much time left. So do you feel that way also, that you guys are really on the precipice of kind of all being put together?
I do, and it's just like I tell Manny that all the time, man. I would just wish to be able to grow a quarterback up, and I really feel bad for the kid that he's, what he's had to kind of do, and we're just now learning each other and learning. I heard him speaking just a minute ago, and I walked in, I heard his last comments. I was like, saying the same things. We're thinking the same way. We're talking the same way, and you develop that relationship, player coach, and we got 6 games left to 7 games left together. Get a bowl game. So yeah, you know, I do feel the clock ticking, and I wish we had more time together, but we don't. So we just got to make the best of it. Yeah, you know, I tell our guys that we have to find a way to score 2 more touchdowns. We just got to find a way to score 2 more touchdowns. You know, the Oregon State game was the Oregon State game, but the close games that we've played, and we're so close because San Diego State game, you know, we didn't get it down inside the 10, and then this game we didn't get it inside the 10. So that's one there, and we got to come up with another one somewhere, whether it's a trick play, whether it's a play action, whether it's a long run, whether it's a guy taking a 10-yard stop route and spinning out of it and taking it the distance. We just got to find a way to conjure up 2 more touchdowns a game, you know, and I think we'll be where we want to be.
Coach, looking ahead to Stanford, what are the biggest defensive challenges you've seen so far?
They're always where they're supposed to be. They do the right things. They're big, and they can run. They're strong. And then on top of that, unfortunately, they tackle very well. I love the defenses that can't tackle, you know. But those guys, they tackle well, they're strong. It's the same formula. And then you look on their roster, you know, they just do it the right way. If you look, most of the time, their starting units are juniors and seniors. They build guys up, and they get them in the weight room, and they develop them, and they play junior and senior football. And that's really how college football is supposed to go. You know, if you're playing a lot of freshmen, then something has happened in the recruiting process or something. And you'll get a guy like N'Keal Harry who's very deserving to come in and play as a freshman. But most of the time, the good, solid programs, you look on that starting roster, most of their guys are juniors and seniors. And that's what you see, and they're strong. And then also, if you're a junior and you're a senior, you got a lot of experience. So they've seen a lot of football. They've seen a lot of patterns come at them, and they know how to respond quicker than a regular team.